Everyone, my name is Suvin Rajapakse,
I'm Aregawie.
And I'm Mais.
and this is our Live Nation Strategic Plan presentation. So basically, we wanted to focus our analysis on Live Nation's current artist management business unit and their 360 deals with artists. And we also decided to look into profitable trends in the music industry based on which medium for music is the most profitable and how it's shifting throughout from the 90s to the 2000s.
Some symptoms that we noticed in the case was that the first one was that Live Nation overspent on its big name artists. Jay-Z had a 10-year contract worth $150 million, and Madonna had a $17.5 million signing bonus, along with being paid $50 to $60 million per album. In the second symptom we noticed was seen through this chart, and this is the decline in CD sales, suggesting that individual tracks are the way to go. In 2006, CD sales were at $9.5 billion, and they dropped in 2012 to $3.7 billion. The third symptom that we noticed was that consumers tended to download an average of 3 singles per album. The issue here was that 360 superstars were contracted by albums, while the forecasted profits were headed towards single sales. Lastly, the fourth symptom that we noticed was that the RIAA reported that only 10% of albums in 2007 were profitable.
Okay, so for the diagnosis, the main symptoms that we decided to follow in with our diagnosis was that CD sales or album sales are starting to become less profitable ever since Napster came out, which was the first music source that allowed people to select their own individual tracks. And because of that, after that, there started becoming a sudden shift in popularity amongst individual singles for music. And so basically, not only that, but the Record Industry Association of America, or the RIAA, posted a statistic saying that all albums in 2007 were only 10% of all albums in 2007 were profitable. And so since Live Nation is still focusing on paying artists in 360 deals by creating albums, this seems to be a problem because they're pouring a lot of money into each album for big stars like Jay-Z and Madonna. And this could be a serious risk for them because they can make several albums that might flop or might not make up the same amount of money they put into it. And so Live Nation should definitely focus on reducing their risk, which was the course concept I ran into when thinking about the diagnosis, when it comes to their artists and their music.
So for the missing facts, the first missing fact that we found was we thought that it would have been useful to have the revenue gained from an album in a 360 deal. That way we could compare it to the amount paid to the artist for that album. This would have helped us provide more reasoning for our suggestion of focusing more on single tracks versus investing fully in albums. The next missing fact that we thought would have been useful was to have the information of how much a single cost to produce. This would have gave us a more accurate representation of hits per album compared to the cost of an album. And next, as you guys can see on your handouts, Exhibit 2 actually shows that the increase in unit sales of albums and singles until 2007. However, because towards the end of that chart, there isn't a dynamic difference between download sales and albums, it made it very difficult to differentiate the difference between the two. Having known the sales volume of the two clearly, we could have better explained how singles are the more profitable way to go instead of album sales.
Okay, and lastly, based off of our symptoms and our diagnosis, we move to the strategic suggestions, which is basically, in a nutshell, to revamp the 360 deal, as you guys could have already guessed. So to do this, we believe that Live Nation needs to focus on contracting the 360 deal artists by singles instead of contracting them by full albums. We plan to do this by paying artists based on the success of each of their songs. This will help reduce the amount of capital that is spent on albums that yield only 3 to 5 popular tracks. In the case of superstar Madonna, the 360 deal gives her an average of $2 million per song, assuming there are approximately 10 songs per album. However, when observing the example above, Live Nation is really paying Madonna $4 to $6.6 million per song if only 3 to 5 tunes are downloaded from the album. We want to reconstruct the 360 deal so Live Nation pays superstars a portion of the revenue for every song sold without giving them the advance that they get with the 360 deal now. By doing so, superstars would receive the proportional sum of tracks sold, resulting in high payouts for popular songs and not so high payouts for ones that aren't as popular. This modification of the 360 deal allows artists to reach their fans directly and get a greater share of the profits, since they now reap a proportional sum rather than a flat rate. It also allows Live Nation to reduce the risk when producing music, since they now pay the artist based on the hit singles rather than the large sums for entire albums. Artists will still have the funding to create music, however, it will be done through creating individual tracks instead of complete albums. In addition, or furthermore, in addition to our strategic suggestion, Live Nation is to create an exclusive online website, kind of like iTunes, to serve as a music platform in which fans can purchase the tracks of their favorite artists through their website. This exclusive music platform will make all singles owned by Live Nation artists solely available on the company's website, additionally allowing for the advertisement of Live Nation events to be seen by consumers when purchasing their music on the website. So, on to the course concepts that were applied in our strategic suggestion. Live Nation is reducing the risk of losing money, aka risk reduction, by paying its artists on the success of their singles rather than on the entire album. Previously, labels would contract artists per album, spending a lot on an album that would most likely yield, as I said earlier, only 3 downloads per consumer. Paying artists by the success of their song helps Live Nation ensure that the investment into artists are spent based on the popularity of a single and reduces the risk of paying a fixed amount of capital on album that yields meager profits. So this course concept that is, again, really clearly relevant is the risk reduction. Additionally, offering songs on the homepage will naturally attract fans to Live Nation's website. This creates a customer/marketing synergy because Live Nation can jointly market an entire artist's hit singles along with artist concert promotions on the same advertisement, on the same page. Having a concert promotion website allows for the easier distribution of our strategic plan to be successful. This is an example of multi-directional synergy because as fans are searching for singles, they will also see the artist's up-and-coming tours and advertisement alongside of it. I hope you guys enjoyed our presentation. Please leave a comment below, subscription, all that stuff. Thank you.
You'll like it.